not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And as I quote Winston Churchill right here, we do believe that success is connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. And that is what makes conversations so very interesting. Today, we'll be bringing to you one such very successful leader. Hello and welcome to this very exciting episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, because we believe life is like a cup of tea. It's all about how you make it. Today, we will know what made our guest's life worth sharing. So with me, Isha Bhalla, let's get this conversation started. The Economic Times Cutting Chai is a series brought to you by the ED Edge, where we get to converse with CXOs, info entertain you, our viewers, while sipping our cutting chai. So it's time that you go grab your cup of tea, because this is going to be a very special conversation with our guest, Mr. Parna Ghosh, Chief Information Officer, Uno Minda Group. Such a pleasure to have you here on this very, very interactive platform with us, sir. Thank you so very much for joining us, Mr. Ghosh.
Thank you, Isha, and thank you, the Kindle team, to invite me for this. I think an interesting discussion, I believe, and let's keep it rolling. Thank you.
Well, we all believe that early years of one's lives lay a very solid foundation for one's future success. And today, our viewers would love to know what your childhood was like, what your growing up years were, and if you could quote a couple of instances that really made you what you are today.
I think two things I can mention. One is think simply is very, very important. Many times, what happens, we go into unnecessary complex thinking methods and look at complex solutions for problems. I think you need to break down the issues into small parts and think very simply. There will be simple solutions for each and every problem in the world. And second thing is, be honest and ethical to your work. That's extremely important. So whatever you are doing, whatever you are, you are a painter, you are an artist, you are a IT professional, singer, or any other professional, a medical professional as well. If you are not honest and ethical to your profession, I think that's the biggest problem you start creating in the beginning of your career. And also across the years you work in the organizations, or the spectrum of your career, the entire thing doesn't work really well. So I think these two things very, very important. Keep things simple and be very, very ethical and honest to your profession. So I think these are two. I mean, I don't want to talk about professionalism, because professionalism is a very vast word and very abusely used, I will say, a word or a terminology. So it's better to make it very simple and keep your honesty and ethical practices, so that you do the best way you can do in your career.
The best learnings from your early years thereon. Yes, keep things simple and make sure that you put in your best, work hard, and keep your ethics intact. Such very, very kind words from you there at the very start. And sir, a lot has changed since the pandemic. So would you say that there have been a change in your leadership style pre-COVID era and now?
There are a lot of changes. I mean, if you look at the way of working, it has completely changed. First thing is, I have predominantly worked in manufacturing for almost, you can say, I think 70% of my career is in manufacturing. So obviously the manufacturing culture is very, very different from the other cultures. Like you are from media, or maybe Ashish is from technology organizations. So these organizations culture is very different. But when you work in manufacturing, you have a very different vibrance, you have very different timelines. I will say, the way of speaking with people, communicating, many things are different. But when we went into this pandemic, I think the first thing change is how you keep your employees engaged. So we also have learned a lot in the whole process, how to behave with people. So I will start with behavior. Say, for an example, the first part. So many times what happens is we start shouting on our teams why it's not happening, on something like that, because it's a manufacturing culture as a whole. It's not about abusing anyone. It's about the culture ingrained in the whole process. Now we had to change that. We understood that people are actually really, I will say, screwed up in the whole process, and their social, family, and other financial issues are there. their health issues are there. So we need to really behave very differently the way we were behaving in the past time. Second thing is, since there was a, I will say, the work from home culture started happening. So we need to also bring in the factor of trust and faith on your employees. If you say, oh, you are sleeping and you are not working, and what are you doing? I think it's not good, because we have seen a change. Like when we were in the office, we were working 8 to 10 hours in a day. When we went into the work from home, people are working 14 hours, 16 hours even in a day. So the content of the work got changed. And believe me, during the first pandemic, the first lockdown, we delivered on 400 projects in the organization. Abnormally high. I have never seen this kind of delivery by the team. The only reason is people were very free, they were happy in their homes, and they delivered really good results. And also we changed our behavior. Last but not the least is continually got engaged with the team. So during those time, people were so demoralized and frustrated, and because all were locked down in the homes and something like that. So we had a continuous engagement with the teams. These are the learnings I had, at least in my entire leadership spectrum. And as a result, I think we had a very good, I will say, delivery on the project side. The only thing what happened is the new generation team, because of the great resignation going on currently, I think the IT is going through a big change now, and this will also get settled down, but currently it's not that good. So that's why we lost a lot of people who are in the junior level. But for the senior level, I think we are very well engaged, and the bonding was really very good. And I think we felt the value of people. That is the biggest learning I think I had, at least during the pandemic. Yeah.
So really, some great learnings. You very well mentioned that how you need to make sure that your team's morale is high, because working offline from home or from anywhere isn't an easy job, and continuously you made efforts to make sure that you keep trusting your team and you are more empathetic towards them. Here I'd like to know, and this is something that you've already touched upon a little, that what is that one aspect that you really look into as that trait that you want in all your team members or the employees that you take on? And you mentioned a lot of new members are joining your team. So, what is that one trait that you really look for?
Again, I'll go back to my first conversation. Keep it simple, think simple, and have honesty in your career. When I say career, it's basically your ethics, your delivery. Don't say lies. I mean, sometimes people say, okay, tomorrow I'll finish this project or something like that, and it doesn't happen. And you lose the confidence on the management. So don't do that. So if it takes 5 days, please say 5 days. Many times our management expects, no, I need it tomorrow. Sir, it is absolutely not possible. Talk patiently, talk politely. It's not possible. We'll definitely give it a try, but we'll try to, it will only be possible after 2 days. Be very, very honest whenever you're having dialogues with anyone. So my suggestion to all my team members are these two things. Apart from that, the third thing which I will always tell is continuously keep learning and upgrading yourself. If you are not upgrading and reskilling or upskilling yourself, or rather cross skilling sometimes yourself, I think you will become redundant and very much, I will say, it will go into the dinosaurs, the way they got extinct. I think we are all going to be like that. So I have also done many, many courses during this, this pandemic, and continuously still I'm doing something. And I have also told my teams, everybody, please focus on 3 to 4, at least new learnings, whether it's technology, whether it is behavioral skills, whether it is soft skills, whether it is some kind of leadership skills, whatever. Please do some learning. So I think these are the 2, 3 things. The first 2 things is for me and for the entire audience, for me. And the second thing is basically for my team, so that I don't have something which I follow and I talk something different. I always follow this principle of walk the talk. So I also tell the same thing which I also follow in my entire career.
Right. So really some very, very clear pointers there from you. So make sure that you mention what it is, be clear in your engagements. And most of all, learning is an ongoing process. And I believe you've also very recently completed yet another course from IIT Kanpur. So it's great to see leaders who want to learn every day. And that is what really brings me to my next question, because we do believe that humankind is a species that needs to rely on one another for success. So, what do you feel a team really needs to work well? What is it that a team needs to thrive?
See, I think success criteria is always a relative terminology. Okay. So today you can say Isha Bhalla is a successful person. Tomorrow, the new criteria may say you are not a successful person. So I think success lies on your own eyes. So whether you feel you are successful or not, whatever the world feels doesn't matter to you actually. So then there lies a concept called self-confidence. So if you have a self-confidence within yourself and self-belief, I think nothing can stop you. One thing I tell my team very, very clearly when I take interviews also, you may have some, lacuna or, some kind of, I will say some issues or some kind of weaknesses in your technical, knowledge. But if you're honest and if you are hardworking, if you tend to do the things properly, your knowledge level will definitely increase, your skill level will increase, your competencies will increase. But if you're not honest to yourself, and if you don't think that you're a very good technical guy, and you don't have the right attitude, I think nothing will help you in career for doing better in your future. I think that's most important. Third point is, I think when we are having a high pressure environment, so that means 400 projects to be done in 6 months, or this year also we are even doing, almost 450 projects in the current year. So when I say project is small, big, medium, all together, all the projects. So then you need to really focus upon your time management. Extremely important. I'll just give my small example. Right now, I was having lunch because all the meetings got extended, till 3 o'clock. And then I requested one of the team members that please extend the time to something else. So I think this time management is very, very important. And last but not the least, spend 10 to 15% of your time in learning. So if you have a 10 hours of work window or a 8 hours of work window, 15% of your time should be spent on learnings and not just doing deliveries. So if you are learning and then delivering, I think your motivation and your overall, professionalism will come out much better. Otherwise, many times what happens is you are walk down and then one day you get frustrated. You say, okay, I quit. I think that's not the right way of handling things. It's better to have these all aspects in place. I think then your success mantra will be definitely written by yourself. Nobody can write your success mantra, by the way. You can only write your, like I think some Panini or someone wrote many thousand years back, that you can only write your own destiny and nobody else. That's what I tell my team, and that's what we also follow as a philosophy.
Such fantastic pointers there given by you. So, really managing your time well, creating that perfect work life balance, learning and keep growing yourself and constantly aim higher. Here I'd like for us to look on the other side. What is that one behavior that you feel that really derails most leaders' career, or what do you think is that one missing point?
I think, see, one thing what I understand is many times people are defocused. So I take up 5 things in a row or 5 things at a time. Say, for an example, I have one thing to do, then I take another thing, then I take another thing, and obviously sometimes becoming over ambitious. That is not right. Last but not the least, always step into the shoes which you can wear. Means only take up those assignments which you can really do. Suppose tomorrow I get a job in a, say for an example, $100 billion organization. Am I really prepared for that job? Do I have the capability and the confidence of handling multi-geography resources? Do I really manage the company executives of that dimension very well? So I think many aspects are there which we should evaluate. So self-reliance is very good, but self-evaluation is extremely important. So many times the self-evaluation goes wrong, and that's why people go into different directions in their career, and then many times people fall into lot of, I will say, issues or trouble in their career. I think that's most important. Cut your cloth according to your need and according to your, I will say is your strength. So if you overboard sometimes yourself, things may go into different direction. I think that's most important. And then self-evaluation, when I say, you need to be very, very critique to yourself itself. Now I am giving an interview to you. Can there be a better version of this? Yes. How? Because if I do a better preparation, if the questions are provided me in the beginning, the many questions you have sent me which are not part of this discussion. So obviously I'm not very well prepared. So I am talking impromptu. And when I talk impromptu, there will be many mistakes, So I think that is how things are there. So every time I should look at betterment, and I always look at that. If I give an interview, if I like talking to you in the cutting chair, platform right now, I see that it can be done better. It could have been done better. And next time when I do that, I think, oh, I think next time again it can be better. I think that continuous thrive and continuous improvement upon yourself and being critic of yourself really leads to a better human being and also a better professional, both.
So we are actually loving this very candid conversation from you and loving the responses that we are getting. And I'm sure our viewers have a lot to take away. So on a lighter note, I'd love to know from you, if you had a chance to change your profession, what do you think you would enter in now?
I think if I really get an opportunity, I'll go to two of the professions. One can be finance and another can be marketing. These are the two things I believe, and I have seen in my entire career of 31 years now, that these two careers are highly visible in the organization. Why? Because finance is a controlling function, and they drive the company's revenue, profit. Rather, I will not say drive. They report the company's revenue, profit, and many other factors, and they have very critical view of everything. That's one of the professions I really like. Second thing is marketing, because they drive companies' future, they drive companies' innovation, they drive companies' competitors, and also the entire marketplace. They have a very, very good leadership skill and also good visibility in the organization, because getting visibility is most important. In Times Group, there will be thousands and lakhs of employees, but how many people are visible in Times Group? I mean, you can easily say, okay, these 5, 10, 15, or 20 or hundreds. I think that's very, very important. Getting visibility means getting bigger opportunities. Getting bigger opportunities means you are actually going in your leadership ladder. So that is how you need to look at. These two functions are really attractive to me, always.
Fantastic. I'm sure that our viewers had a lot of takeaways from this fun conversation. But now, to get to know the fun side of you, I'd love to open around for a rapid fire. So these are going to be very quick answers from you. So choose either of the options and let me dive into it right away. Okay. Are you more of a cautious or bold type?
Bold.
Okay. Satyajit Ray's films or books?
Books.
Okay, are you more into first impressions or second chances?
Sorry, I will change this. I think films and then books. I'm sorry. Satyajit
Okay,
Ray.
got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, first impressions or second chances?
I am a very, fast, I will say delivery person. So I go by the first impression.
R.D. Burman or Kishore Kumar?
Very difficult question, but I will go with R.D. Burman.
Let me make it even more difficult for you. Is it cholar dal with luchi or fish curry?
Mm, Chola dal with kosha mangsho. But anyway, you are giving me a different option. So obviously I go with fish curry. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And alone time with your cutting chai or chai with mates? What do you prefer?
Alone time with cutting chai. You need to have some time for yourself also.
Absolutely. But I would love to have my chai with you. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure knowing you better, Mr. Ghosh. And I'm sure that these light, fun moments and moments of learning from you have been great conversation starters for our viewers as well. So, in this episode, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in, because we believe that the art of leadership is really saying no, not saying yes, not looking for the easier way. So learn a lot from our leaders joining in various conversations right here at the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories. Thank you for being a spectacular part of this episode.
Thank you, Alisha. Thank you, team. Thank you.